Hello, physical science students. Mrs. Smith here. I'm going to be helping you out with some of your density practice calculations. Make sure you have your book in front of you, open to page 56. You're also going to need a calculator and something to write with. So on page 56, we'll be completing numbers 1 through 9. So let's start with number 1. Problem says a piece of tin has a mass of 16.52 grams and a volume of 2.26 cubic centimeters. What is the density of tin? Whenever you're working on word problems, first thing you need to figure out is what is it that they want me to solve for. And this one was pretty direct. It said, what is the density of tin? So let's pull out our equation. We know density equals mass divided by volume. Yes, you should write out your formula for every single problem. Our next step is to fill in our information, or we call showing our work. So we need to figure out the mass. If we go back and read, it says tin has a mass of 16.52 grams. Yes, you should put your units. It will help you find your units at the end. And then the volume. We go back and read. It says a volume of 2.26 cubic centimeters. So 2.26 cubic centimeters. If you plug that into your calculator, you will get 7.31 grams per cubic centimeter. Now, how did I get those units? That's why you're supposed to put them in when you show your work. Right there, it is a gram per cubic centimeter. So as units, it looks like that. All right, let's try number 2. A man with a 50 cubic centimeter bottle completely filled with 163 grams of a slimy green liquid. What is the density of the liquid? Again, it says what is the density, so that's what they want us to solve for. We know density equals mass divided by volume. If we go back and read, it says the mass is 163 grams. Go back and read again. The volume of the slimy green liquid is 50 cubic centimeters. So pause the video and try 163 divided by 50 in your calculator. You should get 3.26 grams per cubic centimeter. Now, what if you had rounded it to 3.3? That would have been okay too. We're not too picky about how many decimal places in this class. All right, number 3. A sealed 2,500 cubic centimeter flask is full to capacity with 0.36 grams of a substance. Determine the density of the solid and guess if it is a gas, a liquid, or a solid. Want us to find density again. We know density is mass divided by volume. Go back and read. The mass is 0.36 grams. And the volume is 2,500 cubic centimeters. So pause it while you put that into your calculator to see what you get. And you should get 0.00014 grams per cubic centimeter. Now, go back and read. It asks you to do something else. It says, guess if the substance is a gas, a liquid, or a solid. Because the density is so low, the substance is probably a gas. All right, let's look at number 4. A piece of metal has a volume of 6.7 cubic centimeters and a mass of 75.7 grams. Find the metal's density. Again, they want us to find density. We know density equals mass divided by volume. If you go back and read the problem, we can see that the mass is 75.7 grams. We're going to divide that by the volume, which is 6.7 cubic centimeters. All right, pause it while you put this into your calculator. And you should get 11 grams per cubic centimeters as the density of the substance. If we go back and read the question, there's more. It says, using the data in table 2-1, suggest what element the metal could be. Table 2-1 is just on the previous page, page 55. If you look at it, try to find what has a density of 11.3 grams per cubic centimeter, and there is only one option and that is lead. All right, moving on to number 5. The mass of a 125 cubic centimeter piece of material is 83.75 grams. Determine the density of this material. So we are finding density again. Let's put our formula, mass divided by volume. If you go back and read the problem, it says the material is 83.75 grams. That is our mass. And it is 125 cubic centimeters as a volume. So you plug it in, you get 0.67 grams per cubic centimeter. All right, moving on to number 6. All right, number 6 says, what is the mass of an object that has a density of 8 grams per cubic centimeter and a volume of 64 cubic centimeters? Be careful, it's changing a little bit. It says, what is the mass? So if we want to solve for mass, we know mass is density times volume. So if we read our problem, it says the density is 8 grams per cubic centimeter. And we're going to multiply that by the volume of 64 cubic centimeters. So pause it while you plug those numbers in. 8 times 64. You'll get 512. And now we need to come up with our units. Again, we write our units in our work to help us come up with them at the end. If you look, we have cubic centimeters in the denominator and cubic centimeters in the numerator up here, because you're assuming that's over something like 1. Our cubic centimeters will cross off, and we are left with just grams, which if we go back and look, we're solving for mass, so having a mass in grams definitely makes sense. All right, let's look at number 7. Different kinds of wood have different densities. The density of pine is generally about 0.5 grams per cubic centimeter. What is the mass of an 800 cubic centimeter piece of pine? Excuse me. Again, it's asking you to find mass. Same formula. Density times volume. It said the density of pine is generally 0.5 grams per cubic centimeter. And the volume of our particular piece is 800 cubic centimeters. So pause it while you put that into your calculator. 0.5 times 800, you should get 400. If we look for our units, we can see our cubic centimeters will cancel out because there's one on top and one on the bottom, leaving us with just grams. Let's go double check. They're asking us to solve for mass, so grams definitely makes sense. All right, number 8. What is the volume of a 325 gram piece of metal with a density of 9 grams per cubic centimeter? What is the volume? So we're solving for volume. Formula for volume we know is volume equals mass over density. If we go back and read our problem, our mass is 325 grams, and the metal's density is 9 grams per cubic centimeter. So pause it while you put 325 divided by 9 into your calculator. You will get 36.1, and now we need to figure out our units. We have grams on the top and the bottom. That leaves us with cubic centimeters as our units, and if we go back and check, cubic centimeters is a very good unit for volume, so it makes sense. Our little double check. All right, last problem for today is number 9. Diamonds have a density of 3.5 grams per cubic centimeter. How big is a diamond that has a mass of 0.1 grams? How big? It's asking how much space does the diamond take up. We know that is volume that we're trying to find. Volume equals mass divided by density. The mass is 0.1 grams. The density is 3.5 grams per cubic centimeter. Pause it while you put that into your calculator, and you will get 0.029. Let's look at our units. Grams are going to cancel out top and bottom. It's going to leave cubic centimeters, which makes sense because it is a volume. All right, that's it for the assignment. If you have further questions, make sure you come see me before or after school sometime, and I can help you then. Otherwise, make sure you put your name on this and be ready to turn it in tomorrow.